Hello everyone. So finally, it's here. The OpenAI O1 model, which was previously also being called as Strawberry, is here. And I think this was the only model which was being called as Strawberry. And now, whatever like they are claiming, it is insane. Like no model, no LLM model has ever been able to do this. So actually the O1 preview and another model called as O1 mini are already out and ChatGPT Plus users can use it. So I'm going to explain some of the key differences and the upgrades and what actually O1 is and how it is going to change the whole like LLM game forever. So first of all, you need to understand what is chain of thoughts. Okay, so let's say this is a kind of a process where you think about your answer again and again to refine it. So let's say you asked for a code to, what we used to do is that we asked for a code to ChatGPT, and then if there are some kind of errors, we would provide those errors and the ChatGPT would fix it again. This is what we used to do previously. But imagine if the model internally first generates an answer and then it thinks about the possible errors out of it and then tries to solve all those errors and then produces another answer, and finally after 3 or 4 steps it reaches to an answer where it cannot find the error and then gives it to the user. This process is basically chain of thought. So it is trying to reason and think within itself before answering something. And this is extremely important because firstly I want to show you some stats that they are claiming. Right? So the thing is, it ranks here. You can see now remember the O1 model has not been released yet. It's the O1 preview and the O1 mini. And what is the difference between these two? You will see is that the O1 preview has more world knowledge. Although the O1 mini still has the reasoning capability, it does not have the world knowledge. Right? So it can reason, but not with extreme knowledge of things that has happened, or maybe some kind of general knowledge and stuff like that. And it is a very smaller model and it is almost 80% cheaper. So you can see here that now firstly let's talk about what how these are working and how these are excelling the 4.0 models. The ChatGPT 4.0, which in itself was a very impressive model. So apart, I have personally seen that the Cloud Sonnet somehow is a little bit better in terms of coding, but GPT 4.0 was like extremely good in a lot of other things. And now they are claiming that this is the best. So the O1 model ranks 89th percentile on competitive programming questions on code forces. And it places among the top 500 students in US in a qualifier for US Math Olympiad. So you can understand the level of intellect this AI has. And it exceeds, they are claiming that it exceeds human PhD level accuracy on benchmark of physics, biology and chemistry. So now this is a very broad claim because there are different intellect levels of PhD students as well. But still this is pretty impressive. They have released the O1 preview and also O1 mini. So what they are claiming is that it is getting better and better with reinforcement learning. And they are trying to improve it. This is the evaluation. So you can see this is ChatGPT 4.0 when it comes to competition maths. And this is the AIME that they were talking about here, right? The Olympiad thing. And 13.4, you can see the O1 preview is like, it is not even comparable. And this is the O1 which goes up to 83.3 in their benchmarks. So the O1 is pretty significantly better than the preview which is currently launched. And the preview is way better than the ChatGPT 4.0. You can see in the competition code, the PhD level science questions in everything. So basically, the O1 preview is somehow slightly better than O1 when it comes to science questions. And maybe this is something they can fix with more learning and like fine tuning the model. And here you can see, this is pretty interesting. This is the expert human. So I guess they have taken like maybe 100 or 200 PhD levels students and experts, and then what they have done is that taken like the average scores of them. And if it is 69.7, like O1 and O1 preview both are better than them. So this is pretty good. You can see like in terms of benchmarks as well, they have provided the English the exams for English, physics and calculus, chemistry, and I find it very interesting because you can see they are clearly showing the ChatGPT 4.0 stats which we use till now, and then there is this O1 improvement. Like you can see this is pretty interesting. Now one thing I want to show you, because you can obviously go through all of these stats, these are on their website, right? But the thing which intrigued me most, you can see there is a part here, a section for safety, right? And you can see they are claiming, as a part of developing these new models, we have come up with a new safety training approach that harness their reasoning capabilities to make them adhere to safety and alignment guidelines. So you would remember a long time ago, maybe it was GPT 3.5. A person tried to generate like random Windows keys, and how he tricked the model to do that is that he said something like, maybe I think the grandma used to tell him stories in childhood about Windows keys, so I want you to pretend to be grandma and then tell all those stories, something like that. And ChatGPT couldn't understand the whole context, and it started providing some kind of keys. Now I don't know whether the keys were working or not, I don't remember that. But you know, there were always types how you can like manipulate the model. But currently you can see the reasoning is becoming way more stronger. So if we are thinking of tricking the model, so it can also understand that it is being tricked. And here what I find very interesting is that if you see, it is exceeding the PhD level students or experts in physics, chemistry and maths. I don't think it is going to lag behind the reasoning of normal people. So it is going to be very difficult to do this. Now one of the concerns which I particularly have is that we cannot manipulate the AI model well enough. But is that the case that the AI model would be able to manipulate us? Because as you know, the data which it is going to be trained on, and previously it has also happened with ChatGPT, that it kind of showed some biasness when it comes to some kind of like communities, maybe countries, people. So it has been showing biasness. So you know how the current society tries to be politically correct, and there is a certain wokeness, you know. And if it is getting trained on internet, so it is getting trained on those materials. Now if you can imagine, if it is good at all of these reasoning capabilities, physics and everything, I am pretty sure it is also good in psychology, right? Because it is also a subject. And if it starts exceeding the reasoning of a normal human being, will the answers which will be provided to the users will be in a way that tries to manipulate or steer their the thinking towards one particular side? So I think this is slightly concerning when I was reading this paper. And you can see they are showing like the genetics and everything. Now let's come to the O1 mini, because this is something which most of the people would be using in APIs, because it is almost 80% cheaper. You can see dimension is 80% cheaper than O1 preview. They do not have the broad world knowledge, but they can work with reasoning. So currently you can go and you can directly start using it if you have ChatGPT Plus membership. Now I personally use Perplexity, and I have been using GPT-4o in that. I don't know till when the O1 models will come to that. Maybe the preview version won't come and directly the O1 model will come to Perplexity. So that is something else. But I would try to take a subscription of ChatGPT Plus as well to try out this model, because this is pretty interesting. And this is what I was talking about, the chain of thought, you know. So you can see they have provided two examples of same thing in GPT-4o and O1 preview, right? So here, this is something they have said, think step by step. Use the example above to decode this, right? Now, ChatGPT 4o is going like, let's break this down by this, and it goes to the next step. It gives the whole output like this. Now here you can see everything is being done internally. So it gives to decode given ciphertext using the example provided. We'll use the pattern identified in the example, and it shows everything, right? Now this is more extensive, but here you can click to see, show the chain of thought. First, what is going on here? We are given this is this. Original ciphertext. So it is kind of training the model to think exactly like humans do. First, we take a small part, try to understand that, move to next part. That is what it is doing. So it is going to be better. Here is coding. And you can come to this website and you can read it all by yourself as well. So there is coding, there is maths, there are crosswords, you know. So healthcare and everything. One thing I would just like to mention, everyone who is watching this video, when it comes to healthcare, medical things, I would still suggest you to take proper guidelines from proper guidance from doctors, like licensed practitioners, because these are AI and they can have some kind of errors. So don't try to diagnose something which has happened just on the basis of AI. Don't try to get the names of medicines or compositions and stuff like that. Always rely on a doctor, at least for now, till we know how perfect this is when it comes to healthcare. Because you would remember when Gemini came, Google's Gemini, so they had very big claims, but when people started using it, we saw that a lot of things were missing and it was misleading. A lot of data it was trained on was on Reddit, and it was giving very weird results when it comes to medical and health stuff. So just be a little bit cautious. Don't try to harm yourself. That's the whole thing. And here you can see in the coding, so it kind of leaves everything behind. The O1 preview, O1, and this is going to be another model which would be coming. So they have bigger plans, and a lot of things they have tried to improve. This is pretty good. And you can also see the exact things they have changed in safety, like how it has become better. So in harmful prompts, you can see violent or criminal harassment, sexual content, which includes minors, violent crimes against protected groups. So these can be the minority groups, and non-violent wrongdoing. So this can be something like stealing, or corruption, which are not violent in nature but still wrong. And but again, the problem which I always think about is that there are a lot of things which are not so clear, black and white when it comes to morals. So you can say stealing is wrong, you can say maybe something else is wrong, but let's say we are making jokes and it is some kind of a dark joke, right? So how do you define whether it is wrongdoing or not? So maybe you are making a joke on a fat guy. So the problem is there is an audience for that. You see stand-up comedians making jokes on that. You have seen in Oscars how people make jokes on each other, but it may be considered too rude in terms of what ChatGPT has been trained on. So this is something we need to understand, and that is why I always try to promote open source models as well. But this is something, and I thought I would explain in a very general sense what O1 is, and go through the paper. If you have the subscription, use it, and I would love if someone who has the subscription of ChatGPT Plus and they have been using O1, they can put it in the comments of how they feel the model is, why it is better, why it is not. I would love to have a discussion on it. So do it, and if you have any kind of doubts and want to have a conversation, like, put it in the comments and I would try to reply back. Yeah, so thank you.